Hello, my dear audiences, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the East-West Show. Jack Chow is my name, with the show trying to focus on everything important to our life, especially day-to-day life. We try to bring important people to you to help you understand ourselves. By that I mean we got to understand our own community. From the understanding of community, we can enlarge the understanding to understand the world. So with the world, we are, trying to define where we're heading, right? So sounds a very big subject, but it starts very, very low key, very, very, the bottom line. And it is so bottom line, we focus to the city of Yorba Linda today. So with me today is the man of glory, man of the landmark, Mayor Young of Yorba Linda. Welcome, Mayor, to the show.
Jack, always good to be with you. Thank you.
All right. And I'm so glad that lots of people got more chances to see you at the past Chinese American Film Festival, both at the welcome dinner and later on the celebration and the seminars and even at the exhibitions. You started to make more exposures and lots of people start to know more about Yorba Linda. That's good.
It is good, thank you. And you do such a wonderful job. EDI does a great job in sponsoring that event. Thank you to Chairman Su.
Thank you very much, yeah.
Jack, you are such a gracious host, though. I so much enjoy watching you work and interact with the crowd.
But one thing for sure, I'm one of the best of your followers.
You are good.
Yeah,
Well, thank
I'm
you.
your fan, one of
Thank
your
you.
fans, right?
And I am yours. I love what you do.
Okay, very
Thank you.
good, very good. We don't have to mutually scratch the backs. What we say here is really something for sure, very for sure. Yorba Linda is it's the birthplace of former President Richard Nixon.
Right.
I myself paid my own tribute to the birthplace, to the cemetery, and to the library. And I myself even purposely bought something very expensive items to support the library. So
Thank you.
it is a landmark, not only for the fact it is a landmark, it is in commemoration. It is commemoration for somebody who did such a great job to break the ice during the Cold War. So lots of people, with the festival, started to know Mayor Young of Yorba Linda, started to know the city of Yorba Linda, started to know what's happening, what had happened in Yorba Linda. And then with that, everything focused to one point, the appreciation of the one, of the hero that was brave enough to break the ice during the Cold War.
That's exactly right.
Can you please, for those folks who have not been lucky enough to learn about the Yorba Linda, such as the historical part, can you please let us hear one more time about Yorba Linda and the library and the former President Nixon and his ice breaking, please?
Well, the city itself is a wonderful place to live. Now, it's come a long way since President Nixon was born in 1913. He was actually born in Yorba Linda back then. So 1913 in Yorba Linda, grew up for his first few years there, went away and returned again to Yorba Linda. And of course, as you said, his birthplace, his library, his final resting place is all there in the city. And there's such a rich history. There's so many things that are attributed to the president. I love the quote that I see that says, and forgive me, Jack, I'm going to get the quote wrong, but no greater honor can be bestowed upon a man than to be referred to as peacemaker. And I think that is what is so wonderful about President
I agree
Nixon.
with that. I totally agree with that. Yeah. Totally agree. And I was in the library, and I especially paid attention to the fact that the library didn't even lie about Watergate, right? And they said so honestly, everything displayed honestly. You know what? That moment, I asked myself, who didn't lie?
Who didn't lie?
In American politics, who didn't do? the only difference is you get caught, right? I don't,
Yeah.
right? So that doesn't make any difference.
What I so appreciate about the library, and I don't know if you know this or not, but they're actually going through a complete 1-year remodeling. They have raised a tremendous amount of money and are going to be remodeling the library. So in 1 year from now, you'll be able to see a completely different interior. But back to what I so appreciate is they have done their best to represent all of what President Nixon has done, the highs and the lows. So many people think of President Nixon and they remember Watergate, but they fail to remember all of the positive things that he did for
only a
our
little
country.
episode. That's only a little episode during his wonderful presidency,
Right.
the way I read it.
Right.
And speaking of the little episode, like exactly what I said just now, who didn't do it?
Who didn't?
Who didn't spy on the others? You tell me, right? Or you may say, I don't. Okay, you're okay. You're one of the okay guys. But you're more okay, you not get caught, right? That's the American politics.
And the idea of spying on each other, spying on countries even, that's been talked about a lot recently. Much of that is done in the interest of public safety.
For the purpose of public safety, for the purpose of national defense.
Absolutely.
Right?
Right.
For the purpose of making sure we have the legacy continues.
Sure.
Right? So that I have no problem with. I'm okay. And I accept any president, such as Bill Clinton, who lied about Monica Lewinsky, about the dirt on his tie, right? Or call it Mark, whatever. So he was still an excellent president. He was still recognized as one of the best ones.
I would hate to judge any of our leaders by the worst part of their office.
You are right.
The lowest of their low.
You are right.
Now, should we expect more out of our leaders? Absolutely.
You're right. You're
We
right.
should expect honesty and integrity and continue to push our leaders to have the transparency
You're
needed
right.
to
You're
assure
right.
that. But don't judge all that they have done just
And
on their
also,
failings.
sir, there's another aspect that we must pay attention to is that your opponents, always try, and we do that too, try to enlarge the dark part.
Absolutely.
If there's any, right?
And if there's not, they'll
Suppose
make it up.
if I had a traffic ticket last night, right? And they will try to use it. Jack's a bad guy. Jack is driving so reckless, something like that. They want to make it so remarkable that I wear it.
Yeah.
As a brand name,
Right.
right? So lots of people who know former President Richard Nixon by Watergate, but that is, to me, I tell you, only a small episode, right? And it can be neglected because everybody does the same thing, all right? What did make the huge difference is that at that time you have Russia, you have China, you have United States.
Right.
The three of them were tied up in the Cold War. Cold War.
True.
As a matter of fact, we have 3 wars. We have World War I, World War II, and Cold War, right? So, at that very moment, to the Chinese, they still remember till these days, it was President Nixon, Richard Nixon, who broke the ice. Of course, our thanks also goes to Dr. Kissinger.
Absolutely.
Yeah, who smelled that sense, right? Okay, with that thing, I really have to invite my good friend, Mr. Mary Young of Yorba Linda, to go back into history to tell people exactly what happened. A visionary of politics, a visionary of international affairs, can see, of course, much further than we do, and then he did.
Well, and President Nixon's foreign policy was top out of so many presidents. That was a discipline of his.
Very good.
I think he enjoyed that tremendously, and which is why he
Sure,
spent so
sure.
much time understanding the world
Yeah.
politics.
How about we take a short break? When we come back, we start with the historical part.
Okay.
We want to reflect the historical part and see how it exactly. And then from that on, we'll see. Now that people are trying to assess the U.S.-China relationship, which functions a lot these days, right? So we can automatically know how important it is for that city to have somebody who is capable of representing.
Very good.
So, Gaussian logic, right? Okay, very good. Okay, short break now, please.